how long this set is. This might be a very different show. And, it's getting real hot. One thing I would say is make some noise for the openers. It's, they were all memorized and shit. I got cue cards. I didn't want to say anything when he was roasting Keon's cards, but they're mine. I don't know, man. So, did a little Fireside because we stopped getting invited to the Firesides when we put all our Mormon friends onto the CES letters, so had to throw one of our own. You guys been listening to the new Kendrick Lamar album?
Yeah!
Alright, I figured. It's a pretty white crowd. It's kind of like fucking with me psychologically. I was driving with my girlfriend the other day, and a lady cut me off, and I was like, ho! And then I was like, I think that this album's fucking me up. She's like, because you just called that woman a hoe? I'm like, no, the word that came to mind was bitch. So, rough. I don't know if I can listen to that shit all the time. Got this lamp. I got that fabric from my grandma to put on a lamp, to have a pink lamp. My grandma goes, pink and red lights, those are hooker colors. I'm like, damn, grandma, I guess. She's like, good thing there's no red light district here. I was like, that you know of, we might start that shit tonight. Do we have like BYU students in the crowd? Make some noise if you go to BYU by chance. Yeah. Not that many. I'm kind of curious. I know a lot of kids at BYU. They're always posting those Black Menaces TikToks. I'm really curious though if any BYU student that posts one of those TikToks actually has any black friends. Like it doesn't feel like it, It's like maybe you need to do your part a little harder, and maybe cure some of that internal racism. It's pretty dope to be back in Utah though. Utah's kind of getting a little gangster right now. Yeah. Utah's in the process of being gentrified by more white people, which is like the most good shit I've ever heard of. It's like a Scooby-Doo villain, and it's like a white guy, and they take off the mask, and it's just another white guy. Like, oh no, the problem was us all along. It's cool too, it's a weird time, because like my unwokest friends from high school, I'll hang out with them now, and they're like, yeah dude, being gay isn't a choice. I know gay people. They're not choosing to do that. I'm like, wow, man, like that's some real progress, dude. They do still say the N-word, but one thing that I do tell people, I've been in Chicago the last 3 years, back in Utah for the summer. I tell people all the time, I tell them I'm from Provo, and a lot of them only know Provo from like BYU, right? They're like, oh, they've got that big ass mountain on the side of the big ass Y on a mountain, right? I'm like, yeah. They're like, it stands for like Brigham Young. I'm like, no, it stands for Young, but it actually stands for how Joseph Smith liked him. So I'll let that one sit for a second. I just published a children's book. It should come out later this, like, fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure. Keep your eyes peeled for it. It's about, like, marine life that kind of turns, like, jihadists, right? They get, like, radicalized. Bear with me. It's like octopuses, right? And they're, like, committing 9/11s every day. Because they're, like, pissed about global warming and shit. It's called Octopisis. It's gonna be a really big hit. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I honestly don't like remember this enough to fully do the joke, but does anyone happen to know off the top of their head the rhyme that's like rain, rain, go away? Or would anyone be able to like deliver rain, rain, go away?
Come again another day.
Keep going.
Oh,
Hi. Anyone else? What'll happen? I'm genuinely asking. No, there. Okay, what? Right. What's the rhyme about the dude who like slips, like fell in bed, knocked his head, and didn't wake up in the morning? Does that rain, rain, go away? Okay, word. It's kind of funny because that's kind of exactly what happened to Bob Saget. Went to bed and he didn't wake up in the morning. So, thank you guys. It's good to be in Utah. I've been in Chicago, and Chicago's weird because it's an incredibly liberal area in this very like Republican state, right? So outside of Chicago, it's like anti-vax everywhere. Like, I've done shows in, like, Bartlett, Illinois, and got, like, booed off stage by people in, like, fucking, like, construction gear. But Chicago is incredibly liberal, and it's kind of funny. It makes me laugh because I'll be going through the halls, and I'll hear someone go, "Oh my god, is that guy fucking R-worded?" And I just know, like, in my heart, that the R word they mean is Republican. Thank you. One thing is, I think one thing that's holding me back in my comedy is that I don't have a catchphrase. I think all the good comedians have catchphrases, you know? So I'll try some catchphrase material real quick. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, you know? Just bear with me here, okay? All right. One benefit about having sex in a pool is that the girl doesn't have to go anywhere when she pees afterwards. That's crazy! It's so crazy! I go to a liberal arts school. We actually have classes on comedy, which is the funniest shit because we'll have incoming freshmen who like look to the older kids as like role models and stuff. So I've been telling all the incoming freshmen, if you show up to comedy class high as shit, every time you smoke weed, you'll get funny. And then I've been selling them weed, and it's really just been like, you know, real money maker. And that's Jeff Davis for sure. That's crazy. Trying to figure out some stuff, right? Right now, the kind of life's mystery that I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out why people think that driving drunk is more dangerous than driving high. Because, like, my only experience with driving drunk was in GTA, right? You get drunk as shit in GTA, you try to drive, it's hard as fuck. You get drunk as shit in real life, you drive, that shit's easy. It really makes me judge everyone who got a DUI or crashed their car. Like, bruh, you did not stick to the plan. This shit, so I can do it with my eyes closed. Like, hey, it's so fucking easy. I've never intentionally driven drunk. I found out that my uncle was a bad influence in this situation. I was at a bar with my uncle, and I had one drink, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta drive home. I'm good. He pulls me in. He says the most gangster shit I've ever heard. He's like, hey, man. We're both going to the same place. I'm like, hell? Like, what do you mean? So we do live together, so I'm like, okay, his drunk ass will drive me home. I'll dodge the fucking 80K DUI. Well, come like closing time, we're going out in the car. He's like, okay, listen, I'm gonna follow you home, and then I'm gonna go to another party. Like, okay, sure. So I drove from like Spanish Fork up to Provo, and that shit was easy as fuck. It's like, I don't know if you've driven high, but that shit really has you like glitching into the matrix. I did like a dab and drove one time and like had like actual visuals and was just like driving in 3D. There's no other way to explain it than that. Okay, make some noise if you're in a relationship. This is my relationship. It's kind of weird that fits. Okay, word. I am in a relationship. We're both incredibly successful in our respective fields, right? My girlfriend, she just graduated from BYU with a degree in electrical engineering. She's at an internship in Arizona right now, about to get a PhD. She's killing it, right? I go to a liberal arts. No, okay. Wait till we get to me. Right? I go to a liberal arts school, and I have not killed myself yet. The whole team is winning. The whole team is winning. Thank you. And if you guys didn't applaud that, I would have killed myself. So thanks for sticking with that shit. My girlfriend told me the other day that she had a dream that I proposed. And I was like, oh shit, like, you couldn't have had a dream that I cheated on you instead? This is all just like connect the dot drawings, to be honest with you. Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, actually, okay, here we go. So, I'm trying to figure out, had a lot of friends that went on missions, right? I'm trying to figure out how to explain to all my return missionary friends that I didn't support them for 2 years to not be able to trash their religion now that they're home. Like they make a big deal about it, right? I have a friend from high school who texted me this long-ass thing. He's like, I'm tired of you stomping on my religion. I was like, I get it, dude. 2 years, you made a sacrifice. But for 2 years, I didn't make fun of your religion. We both sacrificed. We both put the work in, we got the work out, you gotta chill. You know? As someone who's like not Mormon, that didn't grow up Mormon, and then eventually read the Book of Mormon, the only thing I can compare it to is like realizing that you just can't get into Radiohead. Like, this is what you guys hyped up this whole time. This whole time you've been listening to this? Like, I don't know, maybe I got the issue. Maybe it's me, maybe it's you. I can't really say. One of my favorite like factoids about the Book of Mormon is that when it dropped, Mark Twain hated that shit. He called it chloroform in print, right? Which is like, it's not an easy read, to be fair. It's pretty slow, but the funny thing about that is that between Joseph Smith and Mark Twain, are there any more influential racist authors? Is there anyone that's like more influential than either of those two that also happens to hate brown people? I wish I knew. We got any vapists in the building by chance? Anybody vape? No. We'll pretend that we don't. I got vape people trying to give me high fives and shit. I'm like, nah, like you're sticky. People that vape all got like oil residue on their fingers and shit, you know? I think that what vape is to the tobacco industry is what OnlyFans is to the porn industry, right? It's like farm-to-table porn. You're like supporting the porn stars directly. It's really like wholesome. But the weird thing is that the porn wasn't dying, right? Like people stopped smoking cigarettes, and no one stopped jerking off to the internet. You know? In Utah, it's kind of weird because we got our Porn Kills Love movement. So did anyone have that like when they were in school at like an assembly? They came to us in the 7th grade, introduced us to porn. We were like, we'll do it. We were like, I'm gonna do it. It's weird because they make this big deal out of porn, right? Utah's actually the #1 porn capital in like the United States. We consume porn at a higher rate than anyone else, and I just disagree with it. I think it's I don't think that porn kills love, right? It doesn't. I think porn kills boners. For sure. But you don't need a boner to love someone, right? Like, I love my dog. I don't need any bootleg Viagra. Make my shit perk up. Then, this movie back in Utah, I got all my grandparents alive, which is it's honestly a bummer. If you have a friend with like dead grandparents, they're like, oh man, cherish your grandparents. You know, they're like, hold them tight. You don't know how bad it is. I'm like, you haven't met my grandparents. They're pretty trash. But it's tough for me, right? Because I've got 2 sets of grandparents, and I can never evaluate like which set I like more. Because I've got brown grandparents and I've got white grandparents. I do call them that, and I call them in that order. And my brown grandparents, they're incredibly racist, right? Like completely racist. Like my grandpa, his name is Ramon. He like literally came to this country on a boat from Tonga, and he says shit like, we need to build a wall, and those immigrants are stealing our jobs. And I'm like, Ramon, what side of the wall do you think that you're going to end up on if they build one? Really just evaluated. I was actually talking to my grandpa the other day, and he's like, I like what we were talking about comedy, and he's like, I like white comedians, but these black comedians, I can't stand it when they open their mouths. I was like, holy shit, that's racist as fuck, right? However, my white grandparents, and there's no easy way to say this, there's no easy way to bring this up among a big group of people, but my white grandparents can't cook. And it's like, you know, like I can't like figure out which is worse, right? Like on one hand, you know, being prejudiced against a person because of the color of their skin. And on the other hand, you've just got like unseasoned chicken at a barbecue. Like it's a real toss-up. And the other thing is that there's this rift between myself and my grandparents because they're Mormon. They wish I was Mormon. And I know that they would love me more if I was Mormon. It just breaks my heart. You know, they don't have a lot of years left, right? I'd love to come to some sort of a, it makes me sad because, I don't know, do you guys believe in ghosts? I don't know if you guys believe in ghosts or not, but if you do, like, as soon as they die, they're gonna haunt the shit out of me. Like, they're just gonna haunt me for, like, everything I ever did. The second my grandma dies, I'll be, like, in bed all cozy. I'll hear sounds from my kitchen. I'll, like, tiptoe out to investigate. My windows open, rain's pouring in. My coffee maker's on the ground destroyed. As I'm, like, picking up the pieces, I'll just hear in the distance, "You should have gone on a mission!" Thank you. How's fucking 2022 treating you guys? It was good year? Good year? Bad year?
Yeah, that's good.
Who said good?
Yeah.
What's good about your year?
Not depressed.
Hey! I got kind of some bad news. My dog died this year, so don't make that sound. Your dog's gonna die too. Well, my dog died this year, so it's been a pretty rough year. He was really old though. He's like my childhood dog, so we knew that we had to put him down, right? Because he was just like blind. You would think he's like staring out the window, but he's just like staring at the wall. He's like bend down. We're like, "Hey, buddy, like, do you want to go see the Rainbow Bridge? You know? I know you've never seen Colors." He like barked or something, so we decided to put him down. And I didn't want to get him. He consented. He consented. It was enthusiastic. So before he died, I did want to get him high, like one time, just because I figured that's his like natural dog-given right to like just get stoned. I'm not a psychopath, right? They've got CBD treats. I'm not going to give him any anxiety. I don't want him to see like cats everywhere. So I gave him some CBD. Obviously, I'm not a veterinarian, right? But we can all agree, like, no amount of CBD should kill a dog. Like, no matter how much, no matter how much. None. It was the CBD chocolate, so. Fucked up. It's fucked up too, because I got friends that are like, "Oh, you don't need a dog, just get a plant. I've got 5 plants, I water them every day." I'm like, dude, I can get a plant. The longest Snapchat streak I've ever had is like 3 days. I can't be bothered to like feed and water something. I always want to like introduce you to their plants. They're like, "This one is Fabio." I'm like, "Have you seen any plants that you don't live with today?" Like, pretty tough? That's crazy. Sex? Just sex. Sex is the oldest profession. Pretty sure that's in the Bible. I don't know, I haven't read it. Sex is the oldest profession. I've heard that. I hear it every time I come to town because I'm like, "Grandma, I don't have a job." And she's like, "Well, sex is the oldest profession." But it's kind of crazy to think about, right? Because right now, in 2022, you can order someone to come over and cuddle you in Orem, Utah. And they'll just come over, you know, they're like, "Gonna be the big spoon and the little spoon." You get to choose. And I think that just goes to show like what a rough few years it's been. Because sex is the oldest profession, but you can hire professional cuddlers, you know? Just call someone up, you're like, "Hey man, like, do you mind if we skip all that other stuff and can you just hold me, play with my hair? Just tell me everything's gonna be alright?" Okay, thank you. See you soon. Alright, I think we're running low. Or I'm missing a page. One thing I will say is that it's kind of rough being back in Utah because in Chicago weed is legal, right? So, you know, I'm used to just being able to like smoke and not worry about the police. I actually had like a run-in with a cop recently, and honestly, like, I would have gotten arrested if he hadn't taken a bribe, which is the most Utah cop thing ever, right? I was driving around with my buddy, we were selling unvaccinated sperm, smoking a joint. I don't really have the time to get into it. Long story short, my uncle works at Facebook, they're making me get the microchip. You know, we're kind of like selling what we have before we don't have it anymore, right? Cop pulls us over, says weed's illegal, you know. He confiscates our weed, confiscates our cum, and he's like, "Listen, man, I'm trying to get my wife pregnant, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, my guy's just swimming in circles." And he was really stressed, he's huffing and puffing, you know. So, between you and me, right, I think that he might have just, well, you know, I do think that he did, basically, I think he was smoking cum. All right. Before I get into this next joke, make some noise for yourselves one time. You know, you're like sitting through a lot. We're just at the heat lamp. We're just like slowly cooking in here. I was going to take a second to introduce the next performer, but it'd be funnier if I did it afterwards, so I'm just going to do this joke. It's going to be a little rough. We're all from Utah, right? We know that there's no shit to do on the weekends. Or like period. Like it's a Saturday night and this is what you guys are doing. Like there's not a lot going on. Well, when I was a kid, I would, hang out with my friends. We would play this game where we'd all go to a 7-Eleven. We'd buy these little Extends capsules, right? This kid knows what Extends is. Extends is it's the little pink pills instead of the little blue pills, right? It's got like a rhino on it to let you know that like this is a horny pill. Basically, it's bootleg Viagra, essentially, right? We'd all get a bootleg Viagra. We'd all go to our homie's house. We'd all strip down to our underwear. It's not gay, and even if it was, it'd be okay. But we'd all strip down to our underwear. We pop the pill. First person to pop a boner gets the shit kicked out of it. It was really like some childhood shit, right? Like I spent hours and hours just like beating up dudes with like a full-on. It was rough, right? But it's weird because all my friends were white, right? This is Utah. There's this weird like Pavlovian dog type shit that happened to my brain, right? Because now, whenever I think about white-on-white violence, I get hard. Like, sometimes just the thought of it, Like two dudes swinging at each other, Okay, well, I think that's me. I would like to take a second to introduce the next performer. Our closing hymn will be Marangale. You've all been great. Give it up for yourselves one time.